I had spent weeks planning the perfect gift for my stepson's birthday. I wanted it to be something special, something that would make him feel loved, appreciated, and truly seen. I thought I had it all figured out. After all, it's not just about the gift, it's about creating a memory, a moment that would last. But little did I know, this birthday would take a turn I never saw coming. I had always tried to be the perfect step-parent. I wasn't trying to replace his real dad, but I wanted to be someone he could look up to, someone he could trust. So when his birthday came around, I put all my effort into making sure it was a day he'd never forget. The gift I picked out was a bit extravagant, but I thought it would be worth it. He loved gaming, and I knew he'd appreciate the latest console. I had done my research, making sure it was the one he'd been eyeing for months. I was sure this gift would be the moment that would finally bond us in a way that nothing else had before. When the day finally arrived, I was excited. I wrapped the box with care, imagining his face when he opened it. The anticipation was killing me. And as we all gathered around, I could feel the energy in the room shift. His eyes met the gift, and I was waiting for that moment of pure joy, that reaction that would make everything worth it. But instead of the wide smile and excitement I had envisioned, his expression faltered. His gaze lingered on the box for a moment longer than expected, and I could tell something was off. My heart sank. Is everything okay? I asked, trying to mask my growing concern. He hesitated before opening it. His movements were slow, almost deliberate. Finally the paper came off, and there it was. The console, the same one I'd been assured was on his wish list. But his reaction wasn't what I had expected. He looked at the gift, then at me, his eyes searching for something in my face. I don't know what to say, he murmured, his voice tinged with hesitation. My heart skipped a beat. Was he disappointed? Did I get the wrong thing? And then it came, the words I never expected to hear. I actually already have this, he said, almost apologetically. I didn't think you'd remember. I was taken aback. How could this happen? I had been so sure that I had nailed it, that moment of perfect bonding. The excitement I had imagined crumbled before me. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. I felt a knot form in my stomach. How could I have missed this? How could I have gotten it so wrong? I had gone out of my way to make sure I picked the right gift, yet here we were, and I felt like a stranger in my own family. But then something unexpected happened. His mother, my wife, stepped in. She gave him a warm smile and said, "It's not about the gift, it's about the thought, and your stepdad worked so hard to make today special." She turned to me, offering a gentle nod. "We all get things wrong sometimes, but the fact that you tried, really tried, is what matters. He knows you care." I could see in his eyes that he was beginning to understand, too. He walked over, took a deep breath, and wrapped his arms around me. "Thanks," he said, a little sheepish but grateful. "I know you wanted to make it a good birthday, and you did." And in that moment, everything changed. I realized that the bond we were building wasn't about perfect gifts or flawless moments. It was about being there for each other, even when things didn't go as planned. The truth is, I had set myself up for disappointment by thinking that a perfect gift would fix everything. But as I looked at my stepson, I realized that the gift wasn't what would make our relationship stronger. It was the effort, the love, and the willingness to show up every day, no matter how imperfectly. In life, we often put so much pressure on ourselves to make things perfect. But the most meaningful moments aren't the ones that go according to plan. They're the ones where we can truly be ourselves, flaws and all, and still feel loved and accepted. So, while my stepson's birthday wasn't the picture-perfect day I had imagined, it turned out to be the perfect reminder that real connections are built on more than just the surface. They're built on understanding, forgiveness, and being present for each other even when the gift isn't exactly what we expected. As the day went on, I couldn't stop thinking about what had just happened. I had spent so much time focusing on getting the perfect gift, but I'd missed something crucial. The true value of the day was never in the material things. It was about the memories we created, the moments we shared, and the understanding that we were all learning together. That evening, we sat down for dinner as a family, a little quieter than usual. But there was an underlying warmth that hadn't been there before. My stepson, who had once seemed a little distant, was now engaging more in the conversation. He started telling us stories about his day, and for the first time in a long while, I realized how much I had taken for granted in our relationship. Sometimes, the things we think we need to do, whether it's buying the perfect gift or trying to impress someone, are the things that distract us from what truly matters. What truly matters is the connection we share, the love that holds us together, and the willingness to make mistakes and learn from them. As the evening came to a close, my stepson came over to me once more, a slight smile on his face. "I really appreciate it, you know," he said, his voice softer now. "You didn't have to get me anything, I appreciate you trying." That moment hit me harder than anything else. That day here was a young person, still learning how to express himself, yet he had just taught me one of the most valuable lessons of all. It wasn't the gift, it wasn't the perfect moment. It was the thought behind it all. It was the heart that had gone into the effort, the desire to show love and appreciation regardless of how things turned out. It was that acknowledgement, that quiet moment of understanding, that made all the difference. Looking back, I realized that birthdays, and life in general, don't always go the way we plan, but that's what makes the journey so beautiful. The surprises, the ups and downs, and the moments of unexpected connection are what shape us. We don't need to have it all figured out. What we need is to be there, to show up, and to keep trying, even when things don't go as expected. So, on that birthday, I learned that perfection isn't the goal. Love, effort, and the willingness to be vulnerable are what matter most. And while my stepson's birthday gift didn't turn out exactly as I thought it would, the gift of understanding, connection, and growth was far more valuable than anything I could have wrapped in paper. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for years to come. As the days passed, I couldn't help but notice a shift in our relationship. My stepson began to open up more, not just to me, but to his mom too. It was as if the wall he had built, the one that kept him from fully trusting or connecting, was slowly coming down. It wasn't just about the birthday gift anymore. It was about the emotional space we had created, the understanding we had shown one another, and the patience to let things unfold naturally. There was no rush, no pressure, just two people learning to trust, learning to communicate, and learning that love doesn't always follow a straight line. One evening, we were all sitting in the living room and he shared a story with us about his first big school project. Normally, he would keep things like that to himself, but for some reason that day he didn't. It was a small moment, but to me, it was monumental. It was the sign I had been hoping for, a sign that we were beginning to bridge the gap that had always seemed so wide. Over time I realized that gifts and grand gestures, while meaningful, aren't the true foundation of a relationship. The foundation is emotional investment, putting in the effort to understand, to listen, to be present, and to support. When we give someone our time and attention, it's a gift that goes far beyond anything wrapped in paper or placed in a box. I began to see that my stepson didn't need the perfect gift. He needed someone who would listen, who would be there during the highs and the lows, who would show up and be consistent. The more I invested in understanding his world, his hopes, his fears, his dreams, the stronger our connection grew. It wasn't about trying to fix him or make him feel like he had to fit into a perfect image. It was about allowing him to be who he was, flaws and all, and accepting him for it. The more I showed up as myself, imperfect, and trying my best, the more he felt comfortable doing the same. One evening as we were wrapping up dinner, my stepson approached me, a thoughtful look on his face. He sat next to me on the couch, and for a moment there was silence between us. Then he spoke up. I've been thinking maybe I didn't appreciate the gift the way I should have. He admitted. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I smiled, feeling a sense of pride. It's okay, I reassured him. You don't have to apologize. What matters is that we're learning together. And in that moment, I realized something profound. The real gift wasn't the console, the wrapping paper, or the shiny box. The real gift was the growth that had come from that small, seemingly insignificant moment. The bond we had built over time, the trust we had nurtured, and the lessons we had both learned about love, patience, and understanding. As I reflect on that day, I'm filled with gratitude. My stepson's birthday wasn't the fairy tale moment I had imagined, but it turned out to be something far more valuable. It taught me that relationships aren't about perfection, they're about progress. They're about making mistakes, learning from them, and growing together. In the end, the best gift I could have given him wasn't something I bought. It was the time, the patience, and the genuine effort to build a deeper connection. And that, I believe, is the true meaning of love, not the gifts we give, but the moments we share and the understanding we cultivate along the way. Sometimes, it's easy to get lost in the idea that we have to give the perfect gift to show someone we care, but the truth is, love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, being there, and being real. It's about learning to accept each other's flaws, to forgive, and to grow together. The gift of love is never wrapped in a box. It's something we create through our actions, our words, and our presence. And that, my friends, is the most valuable gift of all.